So there's tons of YouTube tutorials for headband wrap curls, but I do mine a little differently, and I'm going to show you how. The first difference is a lot of these tutorials have these very beachy modern waves that start at the ear. I am looking for something much bigger and old-fashioned that sort of starts at the roots. So I'm going to use all the same supplies that everyone else uses for this. A headband, this is thicker, it's knit, it's very slippery, feels like rayon. This works really well for me. The slipperier the better because it's less likely to get tangled up. The other thing is water, a comb, and some bobby pins. Now, a lot of wet sets tell you to start with 75, 80, 85% dry hair, and that is too wet. I start with completely dry hair, add a little bit of water just to get the wrap going, and then once it's all wrapped up, then really hose it down with water. And that way all of the wet hair is on the outside of the wrap instead of wrapped up inside and much more likely to dry. Another thing I do is I take this hair and I comb it forward from the crown of the head. That means all of the wraps that I do are going to start from the back going forward, which is going to give a curlier root and a more waterfall effect down the head. Just add a little bit of water, just really not damp, but a mist. Now you just take your headband and put it over top of your hair. The front of the headband I have resting right against my hairline, and the back is right at the occipital bone. You're going to take a piece of hair about the size that you would wrap around a roller, and I like to comb it, and then instead of taking it and just twisting it around, I'm being really careful to keep it as flat as possible. And then you wrap it through the headband and tighten it a little. The tightening will make sure you don't run out of headband space. Now I'm going to add a little bit more hair and comb it because we want all this hair playing on the same team and smooth so there aren't any kinks or ridges. And flip it over. Now most of these tutorials start on one side, wrap a little bit, start on the other side, ending both of them in the back. And I prefer to start on the heavier side of my hair and wrap it all the way around to the lighter side. I'm just going to do this all the way around my head. So something that you should have noticed as I've gone all the way around, that I've combed every single piece that I've added. That keeps all those pieces flat. There's no ridges once I'm done. The other part is that it helps create consistent tension. You want to have consistent tension all the way around your head. That's going to give you a consistent curl formation. And also I find with this that the tighter it is when you start, the better, because you can always loosen it, but it is impossible to tighten it once it's wrapped up. So now I've got it all the way wrapped to right behind my ear, and it's a little bit trickier now because the direction of the headband changes. It's going up rather than going down. So I'm just making sure when I comb each hairpiece that I'm combing it slightly upward. That's going to make sure that it's as tight as possible and as smooth as possible. Alright, now I have all the hair wrapped up in the hairband, and I have this little bit left because I've been tightening the whole way around. I have enough headband space to wrap up this last end part. And this I'm going to make a little bit wetter than normal, because since this is the lighter side of my hair is thinner, and it's going to dry faster. But we're going to follow the same technique. I want to make it tight, and I want it to be flat when I wrap it around. So that's going to give a more sort of big barrel curl. And I'm combing it each time and making sure it's as flat as possible. Just like if you've ever done a roller set, imagine it like that, but coming from the roots instead of the ends. All right, so there we go. I'm going to take some bobby pins and secure that. And now I have something that looks like a kind of coherent hairstyle. I mean, it's kind of like Joan Crawford matronly-ish, and so I just tend to lean into that. You could sleep on this as well, but because I work in the evening, I tend to do this in the morning, and then I'll take it down right before work, or even after I get to work. I get more compliments often with my hair wrapped up like this than when it's down and curly and exactly the way I like it. All right, so everything in here is secure. I have sort of like Joan Crawford look minus the eyebrows, and just feeling my hair, it feels mostly dry, and that's great. So now I'm just gonna hose it down. And how much water you add is going to depend on how many hours you have to leave it up like this. I'll probably leave it up, I feel like around 6 is the minimum for a wet set just in general. I'm probably gonna leave it in 6 to 8 hours. It's also going to be really warm today. I'm probably gonna take a walk. And if you can ever do that, go outside and in the sunshine while you have, you know, a wet set in your hair, that heat is going to heat it up and really set the curl, but it's not important. Just having it wet and drying is gonna be enough. So now that it's all in, I'm gonna go to work and then I'll take it down later and show you how it turned out. All right, so I'm back. I've had my hair wrapped up around 9.5 hours. I did take a walk after dinner. I went for a ride in the convertible with the top down, so I'm definitely sure it's dry. And afterward, I realized I hadn't mentioned anything about styling products. If you've ever done or are familiar with a wet set, something like a setting lotion that you dilute with water and use it to spray on, that they use for, you know, little old ladies at the hair salon with roller sets, that works exceptionally well. They are making this again. Dippity Doo, which I think works really, really great. You just kind of, you know, gotta be into, you know, just dipping your hand into a bucket of goo and putting it on your hair. I don't often use styling products whenever I do my hair this way, mostly because I'm just gonna have to wash them out anyway. And I don't mind the curl loosening a little bit as the day goes on. But if I do want the curl to be stiff and hold for a long time, or if I know it's going to be humid, I will add styling products. Another tip, one of the ways that I get my hair big is that I don't use any silicone based products on my hair, because my hair is already heavy, it's already thick. Silicone coats the shaft and makes it smooth, but it also on my hair weighs it down. So I don't use conditioner with silicones. This one from Tresemme is silicone free, and this is what I use. But you know, your mileage may vary with any of those. So I'm gonna take the bobby pins out of it, and you know, part of me really hopes that like some part of this is kind of messed up so that I can show you what it looks like and ways you can keep that from happening. So I'm just going to start unrolling it. I'm going to try and be gentle. I often just, you know, kind of really am rough with it and rip it out, but I'm going to try and be gentle. Alright, so this is what I have. Now, you could just, you know, shake those curls out. If you really want to break them up, make it big. Run your fingers through it. Most of the time, this is pretty much where I'd leave it. Maybe turn it up. Shake it out, hairspray it so it's super huge. Now if you want to calm it down a little bit, you can use a comb or a brush. You don't have to be afraid to do this. Wet set curls are really, really strong. And if you're gonna use a wide tooth comb, don't just, you know, rake it through your hair. Hold on to the hair as high up on the base as you can. And then comb through. The benefit of doing this is that it's going to make all of those curls lock into a wave. You sort of see that over here. It's sort of this, you know, 1930s sort of finger wave kind of look. Or you could also use a brush. I have like it's a plastic bristled brush. These are just really good for wet set brush outs. If you're gonna do this, you brush a piece at a time and then brush the end over your hand. That keeps it from getting frizzy. And I'm not going to continue doing this. Like I said, these curls are really in there. They're really strong. You could brush for a really long time and they're going to stay. If you do this and you get a tighter result than you prefer, you just brush and brush and brush and brush. I feel like I can't even give you a good example or a link to a good brush out because they're always going to be sped up because it takes a long time to do a proper brush out. But with this kind of headband set, you can get this more vintagey, traditional result. You can not brush it at all. Shake it out, get it really huge. It's super versatile. I've been doing my hair like this for now over 8 years, so I feel like I've got it down to a science. Any sort of look I want, I can get with this. I hope this has been really helpful.